Listen, you got to come see us when you come to New York, VP Biden.
I will.
It's a long way until November. We got more questions.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community. I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I extended the voting rights 25 years. I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run. Come on.
Shout out to JV the Great on X for posting this clip and reminding the world of who Charlamagne the God is, okay? Well, not even, I don't even know what we call him now. I'm just call him Charlamagne, okay? But he wrote, JV that is, Charlamagne the G'd has no business speaking on politics on behalf of black people. He let this old white guy, this is exactly what I'm reading how he wrote it, tell him to his face that he's not black if he doesn't vote for Democrats with no rebuttal. Who the is Charlamagne and why the God is at the end of his name? Oh, right, great, because I felt the same way after I said his name. Charlamagne the God went on CNN yesterday, and yeah, we're gonna call him Charlamagne the fraud right now. He said Donald Trump will put people in camps. I don't understand where these people get this type of rhetoric from. I really don't. I don't. You know, you got to be some sort of, you got to be a special case to believe stuff like that.
Apparently Trump's is going to tape a thing with Joe Rogan. Do you think she should do that?
I think that she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking.
Wow. So hold on. I'm sorry. His solution is just for her to keep name calling him okay.
That she should keep calling Donald Trump a fascist. And I think that Americans need to keep looking at the rhetoric of Donald Trump, because I don't know why we're even thinking about electing somebody who's talking about putting people in camps. I don't know why why we want to elect somebody who's talking about mass deportation. I don't know why we're having this conversation about somebody who wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. Aren't we supposed to be a patriotic country? Whenever somebody like Colin Kaepernick takes a knee in this country, everybody talks about, oh, that's so unpatriotic. But a guy can say he wants to terminate the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election and nobody cares.
And
like even me bringing it up now, you brought it back to Kamala and Joe Rogan. Anderson?
Yeah.
Who gives a damn?
Well, I think you give damn who's elected president, and I'm asking
that president is a fascist. That's talking about putting people in camps. That's talking about, once again, terminating the Constitution to overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Yeah. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people?
Only scares people when it's against Donald Trump. I mean, when it's not, if it's Donald Trump doing it, but not if it's against Donald Trump. Yeah, we see the hypocrisy. You're talking about him wanting to use the DOJ and weaponize the system in order to go after his political opponents. But we're literally watching that happen now in real time. And it's like, why do you refuse to just admit that truth?
Overthrow the results of an election. That's talking about, jailing his political opponents. Yeah. Like, that rhetoric doesn't scare people?
Well, we talk about this every single. This is what
I don't think
I've been talking about this every night.
I don't think y'all have enough conversations about it. I feel like I heard more on this network about is Kamala Harris black than I do about Donald Trump being a fascist. Well, am I wrong, Angela?
Honestly, that's
wow. Wow, you have left-wing media calling out left-wing media. Oh my gosh, bro. Yeah, okay.
Bullshit. I'm sorry.
Oh, I like that.
I'm not. Look, I'm a huge fan of yours.
Okay.
But to say that we're sitting around discussing is Kamala Harris black,
I've seen that. I've seen those roundtable discussions a lot.
That's
now that's
true.
Bullshit, Anderson. For you to say that y'all don't have those conversations.
I've never asked somebody is.
Oh, I'm not saying
Kamala
you.
Harris
I said the network.
He said the network.
I don't think anyone I don't think any anchor on this network has been going around saying, "Is she black?"
Y'all have never had
we have
had. Look, I'm sure we have had, nutty people or people who have strongly held beliefs who I may disagree with, who somewhere on some panel have said something, but I will just speak up for what I do on the show. I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just...
This is CNN. I'll call cap. I'll say that CNN, as of late, the closer we get to the election, they're definitely coming in the center with a lot of things. I think to save some face, but we ain't going to forget all the stuff y'all done did.
talking points that they don't even believe.
Bring it back just a little bit, my fault.
What I do on the show, I do believe it's important to get people different viewpoints as long as they're willing to have a legitimate conversation. What I don't like are surrogates who come out and just spout talking points that they don't even believe. And those are people I tried to eliminate from having ever on the air again.
I think no network has honest conversations about Donald Trump. Nobody's had honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president. But it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary.
Oh, see, look, we was agreeing with each other just for a second. Yes, it is a double standard when it comes to the media and Trump.
Honest conversations about Donald Trump since 2016. I saw last night they were talking about, the double standard that exists between Donald Trump and the vice president. But it's always a double standard with Trump, whether it's with Hillary, whether it's, against Biden, now with Kamala. We talk about him being a threat to democracy, but we don't treat him like one.
I don't know what you've been watching, but I don't know of any Trump supporters out there or people who like him who are tuning in to me every night to try to get, to be validated in their opinions. I don't know. I don't know. I disagree.
I don't think it's about validating. What you mean, validating the Trump?
Well, you're saying that we're not. That I guess you're saying I'm not discussing all the things he is saying and doing and pointing it out and talking to what John Kelly.
Yeah. Now we got Democrats fighting each other on CNN. At the end of the day, they just realizing that this rhetoric and, their tactics and everything that they trying to push is just falling completely apart. Somebody wrote under this post, Charlamagne got paid by Harris. I'm so sick of the BS. He's washed. Yeah, Charlamagne, he's been getting cooked. He got cooked all the way back from Larry Elder. He had Piers Morgan on there cooking him. Who else came up there? So many different people. I just wonder why they won't bring Trump. But I don't think he's very smart and doesn't research on his own. Even worse, he calls himself a god. In my eyes, that's not a good person. Eventually, they will all eat their own. And that's in reference to the Democrats. You see how they pushed out Joe Biden and installed Kamala. Now Joe Biden is over there like, yeah. But Cooper went base just for a second. I may not agree with his stance on all this stuff, but he went base for a second. Oh man, somebody said, and Anderson is arguing with him and telling him, no, they can call him that more. And the fact that Charlamagne's solution to Donald Trump is to just continue, call him a fascist, call him names. So that's the solution. How about actually, having a candidate who can provide some context, some policy and some substance? Because the panic on y'all end is looking real. You know what I'm saying? Charlamagne the God. I just tuned in and I hit a live. That's all I hear. Somebody said, Charlamagne the dog. They are imploding. Someone else wrote, it's like watching family reunion go wrong. We're all here for the popcorn. Right. I'll just say, man, how do we even get this guy airtime? I don't know. The collapse seemingly begins. So on top of, his name that we can't get past, I don't think I can, look, Charlamagne on Harris, right? He was asked if she thinks she's been authentic, and he says he thinks that she's being authentically herself, who she is, and that sounds like a very Kamala answer, bro. Oh my gosh. But I love Katie and how she responded with, I have to beg to differ with you on that point. Check this out.
I think she said something in the beginning of our conversation when I brought up the fact that people say she's very scripted. People say she sticks to her talking points. She said, you're welcome. I call that discipline. And it made me think about something. I think that we've seen such a lack of discipline since Donald Trump came on the scene that we forgot what that looks like. So when you have a politician who is in an interview or in a conversation and they're being disciplined, as she says, and getting their message across and telling us what their policies are and, detailing their policies, it's kind of like we want to be entertained, right? And that's not what I think we need from our politicians. So to say, do I think she was being authentic? Yeah, I think she was being authentically who she is, which is a very disciplined, seasoned, veteran politician.
I have to beg to differ with you on that point. I think that she takes a really long time to get to her point, and that she does rely on talking points too often. I think she's gotten much better than she used to, but it's almost as if she's afraid to say something that will later come back to haunt her. And I find the fact that she just doesn't really articulate to me her true policy position, and that she isn't really directly answering the questions a lot of times. That's been my experience, and my experience watching her. I just wish she would say, this is our plan, or you're right, a lot of illegal immigrants have come into this country during the Biden administration, but this is why, and this is what I want to do about it moving forward. You know, I don't find her explanation of policy that compelling compared to, say, someone like Bill Clinton or Barack Obama. Have you ever interviewed them?
Yeah, I interviewed President Obama before. I interviewed President Obama when his book came out. I've never interviewed President Obama when he was running for office. I've interviewed, Hillary Clinton a couple of times as well when she was running. I can understand what you're saying. I think that, a lot of politicians, or at least disciplined ones, are scared of saying things that, may come back to haunt them. But my thing is, in 2024, what can truly come back to haunt you? But then again,
everything. What do you mean? Like, this is y'all man's, bro? This is y'all God, bro?
There's only one Donald Trump. Nothing seems to haunt Donald Trump. Nothing seems to stick to Donald Trump, but everything seems to stick, to everybody else. But
that's not true. I don't really think we need to do a lot of talking at the end of this video. I'll just say, look, he thinks he's smart, but and you probably need to watch this interview back. I don't know. He's been getting cooked in a lot of his interviews, and I don't think he's gonna watch any of them back, if I'm being honest. But I will tell you, Charlamagne got paid to lie for Kamala if you're doing it like this, bro. Oh my God, this is brainwash. I don't get it. Let's read a few of these comments. Somebody says she never answers a question directly because she doesn't want to tell anyone what she really wants to do. She doesn't want to change anything, period. All that loser sees is the color of her skin. It's his whole shtick. Something up with this guy. Did Kamala promise him something? Somebody said the left is in shambles, that their lies about Donald Trump are not having the impact they hoped. And I don't know what they have on Charlamagne, but he is out and all over the place. Buck dancing for the DNC.